Hello and welcome to Rally Japan. This is the final round of the season. The title championship goes down to this round. We are in the seat and in play for the championship. It's all coming down to this. Essentially, what we have to do is try and win the rally. We are missing out on a few points, essentially. Approximately 10 points, so we need to win the rally and preferably win the power stage to guarantee that the result goes in our favour. Got a lot of umming and ahhing to do on how we're going to do that, but anyway, here we go. Time to start stage 1. In the Citroen. So, a lot of work to do, but we shall just have to wait and see. I've done not much practice at all. I've been practicing for the JRC on Dirt Rally 2. So going back to this game, especially after WRC Generations, is going to be a tricky one. By the way, the commentary of this is live. So this is not post video editing. This is commentary during the stages. I will have to wait and see whether it's good or not, but I'm going to try and comment the stages as we go through them. As I've been doing on my live stream, basically. So, yeah, the Citroen, not the best car in the world, but we'll make it work. It's still got reasonable pace, although it really does struggle on tarmac, so a bit up against it, really. But that's okay. Our teammate is in the same position, and he's also in the hunt for the championship, so not too bad, in my opinion. So, in terms of setup, I'm just going to load a very lightly modified setup, nothing crazy at all. You know, I've literally not played with the differentials. I made one modification to the setup because it was literally bottoming out on some corners and doing all kinds of weird stuff, and I made the gears slightly longer. That's literally it. So, this is pretty much near enough a default setup run. Anyway, stage 1 awaits. Let's see what we can do as I just turn the sound up for my sake. Here we go. Go into the stage now. I've just realised I've got no co-driver, but too bad. I will have to do. So yeah, a very tense rally, this one. It's all to play for, really. And to end with a tarmac rally as well, a very high-speed tarmac rally. Yeah, couldn't ask for much more difficult if you tried, really. Again, the grip levels compared to this game to WRC Generations, completely different as we take a huge cut through there. You know, we're not leaving anything to chance on this rally. It's an open rule book, so cuts like that are allowed. Basically, whatever the game will let you do, you can do. So we're going to push and push like hell. One of the fastest stages on the rally, this one. You've got a really open section here. We've just got to push it and counter-steer and hope. Hope to all hell that the car reacts well to your driving. A little bit on the brakes just to make sure you don't clout the barrier. I'm not sure what the damage is set to, but I hope it's not too bad. Anyway, on the rev limiter, I would have thought we would be okay, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Bit conservative around there. Again, just getting our eye in on this first stage. I've literally just booted up the game and going straight into it. Our teammate is on for a mega run on this rally, and the other guy, I will point them out on the leaderboard, but yeah, there are no slouches. We can't afford to take any penalties or any offs during this rally, really. Car working very good for the moment. Cannot say the same for the frame rate of the game, unfortunately. Gearing maybe slight bit too low in the gearing, actually. I feel like I'm losing quite a bit of top speed in certain places, but the turn-in is very good. That's good news for us. Citroen sticking to the road. It does have good levels of downforce. It's just lacking a bit in power, in my opinion. And, yeah, you can really feel that the car is just not as dynamic as the others, really. But it's only a couple of seconds, so it's more going to be down to the driver and whatever the driver is capable of doing. Be interesting to see whether everybody attacks from stage 1 or whether some people have played it cautiously in this rally. It's you know, it's one of these rallies where you really do have to be careful about what you do, essentially. Rolling it through the turns there, carrying decent speed into the corners. Oh, and as we make a first mistake there, going over the grate, this car has no forgiveness at all on that front splitter. On every other car, we can take it over that grate. And I must say, I have tried that in the past, and it has worked in the past. But has it worked this time? No. No, it has not. Bizarre stuff happening there on the first stage. Drama on the first stage then. We managed to get it reversed really, really quickly and back going, but not an ideal start from us there. We do have a gap of 4 seconds, though, to PRT Luis Mega. He's a very, very fast driver in the I-20 as well. In terms of the championship, though, Camilo CBL is in 3rd after that stage, close to 2nd place, and the current rally leader, our teammate, in fact both of our teammates there in 5th and 6th. Decent stages for them, just losing a couple of seconds really, maybe just settling into a rhythm. I know Azar, especially the driver highlighted there, takes a couple of stages to get his eye on the ball, basically. So yeah, some interesting times there, and a lot of people within a short amount of time. So we're going to have to push as much as possible, basically. So on to stage 2, Shinshiro reverse. In the Citroen once again. If I remember rightly, the point standings are myself behind Camilo CBL by 8 points, and my teammate a further 10 points behind. But I will have to do an update at the end of the rally. Essentially, if we win and take 1 extra power stage point than Camilo CBL, even if he finishes 2nd, it's not going to be enough for him. So we're just going to have to push and push like hell and hope that it sticks. I'm just going to look at my gearing. Gearing looks okay. You can roll through that setup. Honestly, it's not a very good setup. I just done it in 5 minutes. Anyway, here we go. Stage 2. Inshiro. Very difficult stage, this one. You have to keep the rhythm and not be scared by the drop-offs and all of that. Taking a few risks there, putting the wheel in the gutter. That's normally not a very good thing to do. Not really intentional, but we got away with it. Frame rate really struggling in some of these corners here, so I do apologise if the footage is a bit stuttery, but just have to get on with it and cope with it. Rally result is more important than a couple of frames to me. As long as the game keeps running as per normal, that is fine. But yeah, very late on the brakes into here. You almost want to stop the car just after the apex. That's the fastest way to get around these corners. The late braking on WRC means that you have to drive with a very specific driving style to this game that doesn't even work in WRC Generations. So yeah, very tricky. I must admit, a driving style that I never really liked, so I will be honest, I'm quite looking forward to seeing the end of this game, basically. I know the results of the WRC Esports don't say the full picture, but yeah, I was never comfortable on this game. I was always looking for pace, especially on tarmac, so if I could get another win here, that would be brilliant. The reason why this championship hasn't been sewn up so far is because one of the rounds happened while I was at the WRC Esports in Greece, and I scored 0 points, whereas my championship rivals took home a 1-2, and as we go off, just misjudging the side of the road there, we are very, very lucky to get away with that. A small tap, really, but could have been much, much worse. Hopefully no damage there, but we were lucky. Just misjudging the speed again. The car is very floaty on tarmac, so it's not very easy to judge your speed into corners or where the edge of the car is, really. The hitboxes on the car are quite large, so even though it gives you the impression that you're not very close to the side of the road, sometimes you can clout the barriers anyway, like we just did. I'm of the general impression that I've been a bit too cautious with my driving lately, so I'm trying to attack a bit more and just grow the gap. Then if I make a mistake because I'm not being cautious, it comes back to the same result, really. Again, over the curb, you have to go over the curb there to not have some weird physics stuff happen. It's the fastest way anyway. Interesting, I could carry 5th gear in there. The gears, I really do think on this car are quite short as we clout the barrier once again. Don't want to be doing that too often, but we're towards the end of the stage now. No indication of the times on this game. You only get the times at the end of the stage, so that's why there's no sector times appearing. The aim of the game is to push flat out and ask questions later, which is kind of my style of racing, to be fair. A bit of understeer creeping in here on entry, and then a bit of oversteer on exit. Again, this car is well renowned for that. I'm sure Ogier could tell you a lot about the quirks of this car. Same with Sebastian Loeb and Chris Meek, to be fair. And across the line. You can see a bit of damage on the car there. Nothing too serious. We'll be prepared for the next stage. So, a very clear win on that stage. The gaps are incredibly close, though. With Maxi taking what seems to be a stage win there before we came along. And another 4 seconds, though, to my teammate, which is very, very good. And Camilo CBL doesn't look like he's having a particularly good rally. I think Azar takes the lead, or takes the provisional lead, because I haven't completed my run yet. But it's a close run thing for the moment. If the positions stay as they are, I think I am the champion. But I cannot confirm that at the moment. We'll have to wait for the official results for that. So overall, going okay for the moment. We're on to Shitara, which is the epic stage. Very difficult stage, this one. Just got to play it by ear and see what you can do. The problem is with Shitara, it's a very demanding course because the tempo changes a lot. You have sections with a lot of hairpins in, and then immediately afterwards you're going flat out through very open and wide roads, and then straight back onto narrow roads where you have to be cautious about the barriers, about obstacles, and you'll see exactly what I mean in a minute as we drop down the valley into a very hairpin filled section, then onto a very wide road before going back into the mountains for some more hairpins, basically. It's a very, very tricky stage. Hard tires going on the car this time. We must not forget to load our setup. And double checking, because sometimes the setup doesn't load properly. I'm just going to do a quick sweep through. Okay, here we go. Epic stage. Time to put a dent in the others' times. Here we go. Car handling better on the hard tires, would you believe? Maybe I should have selected hard tires from the start. But, yeah, for the moment, car handling very good. The balance is slightly more central, whereas the grip on the softs is on the front axle, and the rear axle just struggles to find some grip. This is a bit more sliding on both axles, but it's a lot easier to get it through the corner. And, yeah, frame rate struggling once again. Japan is notorious for that, unfortunately. Fixed on WRC Generations, not fixed on WRC 10, I can say that much. But shouldn't hamper us too much today, unless we get a great game crash, but that would be incredibly unfortunate, really. So yeah, the handling very, very good here. Not great memories of this stage. It's where I lost my force feedback in WRC Esports. So, yeah. Oh, what could have been different that day if I didn't have that problem once again. But now is time to look a bit into the future. And into the immediate present as well, rather than looking at the past. Some very nice corners there on the handbrake. Oh, is the car just hesitating to get any grip, and as we're into the fence there, just clipping the fence with the back end of the car. Once again, a mistake that I've never made with any other car, but the car just getting loose through there, making quite a few uncharacteristic errors, really. Quite lucky again to get the car back on its, you know, facing forwards. Very, very tricky. Again, getting used to the grip levels in this game is very tricky after playing WRC Generations. It's taking a while for me to get used to the confidence you can have in the car, and a bit too much confidence, to say the least. Probably down a couple of seconds on the splits. But then again, the other sectors were, or the other hairpins there were really, really good. Yeah, just lacking a bit of confidence in the car, really. Maybe I should have worked a bit more on the setup, but then again, I had a lot to do this week, so sometimes you have to sacrifice something. I thought I had the pace during this rally. It certainly looks like it, but the consistency in the practice is not there, basically. Again, these stages require ever so much commitment. You have to be 100% on the limit every step of the way. We're trying to do that, but some brief understeer kicking in. Understeer when we hit the gate, really. We were too wide on the exit, and understeer through these hairpins a little bit. Maybe the balance of the car a bit too far forwards. We could have done with a bit more oversteer, but I'm sure when the tyre wear kicks in, we'll be thankful of that. So, yeah. Let's see what the overall balance is like at the end of the stage. No idea why it sounded like we'd hit something there. I don't think we should have hit anything. Again, this section very, very wild and frantic. The most difficult braking locations as we lock up there on the brakes. Car not having necessarily good traction through there. We're struggling a little bit to get the power down, especially out of the turning zones, and miscalculating the width of the car once again. I think it's because I'm used to driving in cockpit cam mode, but for the purposes of recording, this is much better. You haven't got that tinted window effect. Anyway, through here. Again, a very fast section of the rally as we go into the second part of the stage. Right, you know this part. You've seen it already on stage 1, so we've got to just do what we did there and go flat out and hope. Once again, hitting the barrier. Just not au fait with the width of the car, really. Taking some unnecessary damage and really some unnecessary risks through here. All we need is a clean stage time, and we just want to build a gap just in case we have a problem like a jump start penalty, or I don't know, some reset penalties, some unlucky mistakes or something. Again, I love these stages, so fast, so flowing, so demanding on the driver, really. It requires you to think all the way through the stage and to carry that momentum as much as possible. Our tires gripping quite well now. They must be warmed up to temperature at this point. I have heard the co-driver comment sometimes on the tires during the stage, so I must presume that that is a thing in this game. And again, if you look at the tire wear counter at the bottom left, the tire's not really suffering that much tire wear. We should be quite good on the tires to the end of the stage. And very good grip. Not really sawing at the wheel either. I don't have my wheel cam activated right now, but yeah, the wheel very, very sort of stable in my hands, to be honest. Just a few corrections here and there where the car just says, nope, I'm not giving you that grip. But for the moment, it's the braking. As usual in this game, the braking, really the problematic stuff. And we go flat out around here. Sort of. Yes, we do. We do manage to go flat out. The car gripping very, very well. It must be said that these roads don't really look like the roads we had in Rally Japan this weekend. Obviously, this is being run on the same weekend as Rally Japan in real life. And yeah, the stages are a lot wider, especially in the tricky sections. The stages are just not that demanding compared to real life. You know, there's a load of very tight, slow corners one after the other, whereas this is very high speed. And very demanding stuff. I mean, to be honest, I've seen a lot of complaints, really, that the real Rally Japan was too slow, effectively. And the stages were not allowing the cars to be used to their full potential. You know what they say, though? It's whoever's fastest throughout the stage doesn't have to suit the car and the driver have to suit the stage. And a lot of drivers found that out the hard way, basically. So, as we go through this section here, very, very tricky. Getting quite a bit of locking of the brakes. And quite a bit of sliding as well. Maybe we've entered into the tire phase where the tires sort of go through a couple of phases in WRC 10. A phase at the start where they're super grippy, then they start to be like super understeery, then oversteery, and then back to neutral pattern. So we're going through that sort of oversteery pattern at the moment. Yeah, it can be very unpredictable, and the grip can change quite a lot throughout the stage on an epic stage. Ooh, a bit offline through there, nearly onto the grass. This section is very, very tricky for the bumps and curbs. If you get your wheel on the curb like that, you're going to have to counter steer because it sends you straight off. Nothing you can do about it. Riding the curb there to prevent that from happening, essentially. And as we clout the barrier, because the car gets a massive, uncontrolled amount of oversteer. One of the little quirks of this car that I'm sure, once again, Sébastien Ogier remembers incredibly fondly. But overall, the pace is looking quite good now. We just need to make sure that we don't get any damage on this stage. It would be good if we can pull a gap of maybe 10 seconds on this stage. That would bring the gap to just about 20 seconds, I think. That would be quite nice. That's a good buffer then for if we have any sort of damage to the car. But who knows? Who knows? Braking now into this corner. I don't have the confidence to push this car 100%. Are not really complying with what I want it to do. And very ragged through this section as well, getting very close to those barriers. Get away with it though. really be aggressive on the power in this game. You don't have to wait. There's no boost. There's no regeneration stuff. It's just flat out attacking with these cars. I quite prefer this to the battery nonsense of regeneration and stuff like that. I must admit. I do hope the WRC goes to the hydrogen cars rather than full battery cars, because I like flat out attack rallying. You know, old school type of rallying here. As we approach the final stages, not final stages, the final corners of this stage. There we go, I finally got it out of my mouth. The tyres are really suffering a little bit, or maybe it's just the setup. But yeah, quite a difficult sort of rally, this one. Again, you can see the corners are very, very different one to another. And at the end here, some quite flowing corners, but with a lot of danger on the inside and outside. And across the line, what is the time going to be then? What is the time, Mr. Wolf? It's an 11:54.9, and I think that is 15 seconds. 15 seconds. That is a brilliant time on the board, it must be said. And, oh, we've got a Fiesta Rally 4 joining in the competition as well. So yeah, very good time on the board there. Again, our teammate in second place he's having a very good rally. He's picked up the pace, and that's exactly what I expected him to do. He's shown great growth during this championship, my teammate. He was out of the championship running, really, when I joined the team midway through the season. But since then, he's taken a lot of steps forward, done a bit of practice, done a bit of setup work, and I'm really proud of the improvement he's shown. He's getting there. He's definitely getting there. And just a bit more improvement and he'll be a-okay, as they say. So Camilo having quite a bad stage there, losing 15 seconds to my teammate and 33 seconds to myself. It's tricky. It's tricky. That's the nature of rallying. You can make a couple of mistakes and then lose confidence for the entire stage, and that's what you've got to try and avoid. So on to stage 4, and then I will take a very, very small break to just get a drink. Stage 4. Okazaki reverse. I think that is the same start of stage as the epic stage that we've just done. Go ahead and do it. So yes, from what I can see, it is the exact same start as the epic stage, but done this time on soft tires. So we'll be able to run flat out once again on the softs. We'll just have to be a bit careful of the balance. And night stage, we meet again. Now I've got to remember that on WRC 10, the night stages are very, very tricky, because there's not a lot of light. So I'm going to have to be a bit cautious in here and not throw away the lead of the rally. It's very easy to do. Anyway, here we go. Here we go, the midway point of the rally as we approach the business end. Well, we're already at the business end of the season, but this is the business end of the rally, where people start to push quite a little bit, I think. And, same for me. I've got a good rhythm, and while I've got good pace, I may as well keep pushing. It's a lot easier for me to keep my pace up and to keep pushing until the power stage. That way, on the power stage, there's none of this trying to get your speed back up. You're already in the zone. You're already in the rhythm. It's important to just, on some corners, not take an absurd amount of risks, like on that corner where there's a huge rock on the inside that can flip you. Again, the frame rate not particularly liking this section of the stage. That's okay. deal with it. Again, incredible amount of just precision needed to go through this stage. It feels a lot better, really, on the soft tires, I must admit. But again, the balance is much more towards the rear of the car, so we're going to have to be just a bit careful, really, as to what we try and do in this, especially the next sequence of corners where we crashed on the hard tires. It would be wise to back off, but then again, I don't know anything about wise. I only know about pushing flat out, so there we go. That's how you're meant to do it. Much better on the second pass through here. And as far as I know, the last pass in this direction. Spot the barrier, turn in just at the barrier to avoid clouting it on the exit. Same for here. Late turn in, or sort of late turn in, because you've got to avoid that island, or the pavement island on the outside. And flat out through here, getting as close to the barrier as you dare, and I've messed up. I thought that the turning point was way up the road. Again, with the lights, I could not see anything there. Getting caught out once again by WRC 10's lighting system, or lack of lighting system for that matter. I could have sworn that that corner was later on, or, you know, about 50 meters later, but apparently not. As we go past the British flag there on the right. Bit of support for us. That's more than welcome, to be fair. Trying to keep our foot on the throttle a little bit to keep the car sort of flowing through the corners here, but it's very, very tricky at night to know which rhythm you've got to set yourself into. You've got to trust yourself and the car. This is where setup matters, and it's where you can lose a lot of time if you're not confident in your driving abilities or in the setup of the car. One little moment like we've had, or you know, a lock-up or a load of understeer or oversteer can make you lose 5 or 10 seconds on a night stage easily, if not more, to be fair. So it's very important for us to try and keep our tempo up here and the confidence high. I'm not sure how many night stages there are, but I would certainly like not doing any more of them, basically. Again, look, you can only see, like, what, 50 meters in front of you, if that. This is the type of conditions that on the road you'd be asked to drive at 50 kilometers per hour. Not more. We're doing 160 and more through the corners, so definitely not obeying the laws of the road right now. And at some point here we've got to go up. I can't remember. Oh no, the finish point's here. Oops, I forgot that. Completely forgot the stage at the ends there. Wonderful. What a twit. Anyway, that concludes the first half of the rally. As I expected, that little lock-up and crash really did lead to us losing a lot of time there. 2 seconds in front of my teammate. He's having an exceptional rally, it must be said. So the 3 championship contenders at the top of this rally, it will be down to who has the best pace and the best consistency. At the moment, my teammate doing enough to secure me the championship by keeping Camillo down in 3rd place. For my teammate to win the championship, he basically needs both of us to DNF or not score any major points. So it's up to him. It's up to him to just keep consistency and do whatever he can, basically, and wait for us to make mistakes. Those mistakes are not coming at the moment, but maybe they will be in a couple of stages' time. Anyway, I'll take a quick break and then I'll be straight back.